In my last video, if you haven't seen that video, I would suggest you watch that video first for context. I did a deep dive into where the rumors circulated about the alleged affair between Prince William and Rose Hanbury. Now, from my research, which was based on several articles and tweets, some now deleted, I was able to conclude that Richard Eden was the one who planted the seed in the media, Dan Wooten watered that seed, and Richard K. helped that plant grow by shining some light on how this story was a threat to their family's domestic tranquility. Now, thanks to the wonderful Wayback Machine, I was able to recover both now deleted articles. Now, I think it's fair for transparency that we start with Ma Richards' article, since this is the one that led us down the rabbit hole of the Rose Hanbury debacle. And of course, I'll show you how Dan Martin followed up and added 10s on 2s. In the headline, Regine states, Eden Confidential. Does Kate have a royal rival? Friends claim the Duchess of Cambridge is battling to be Queen Bee of the Turnip Toffs of Sandringham against the Marquess of Cholmondeley's ex-model wife Rose. And then he goes on to lay out his points for this small column. Okay, so this is what Regine said. As the wife of our future monarch, the Duchess of Cambridge was assumed to be Queen Bee of the Turnip Toffs, who lived near Amner Hall, the country home she shares with Prince William and their children in Sandringham, Norfolk. Friends claim there is, however, a rival to her royal crown. She is Rose, the ex-model married to their neighbor, the Marquess of Cholmondeley. I am so butchering these people's names, but whatever. On the face of it, it's bizarre, but Kate seems to see Rose as a rival, claims one of their aristocratic set in East Anglia. Now, Marich is already being shady by stating that Kate, being the future monarch, thought she was automatically going to be the Queen Bee of the Turnip Toffs, but come to find out, they not rocking with her, they rocking with Rose. Now, the Turnip Toffs, if you guys don't know who they are nothing more than a bunch of rich aristocratic snobs that apparently reside in much bigger homes than the royals. Not my words. Now, they seem to be cool with Kate because, of course, they have to be, but I think that's about as far as it goes because she's not really in the club like that. She's kind of like the Celia Ray Foot of the Turnip Toffs. If you know, you know. Now, if there's any confusion on why she said darling, everyone knows each other's names. Well, that's because it's been alleged that this group often swaps partners. And this is supposed to be a well-known fact, especially among the wives and girlfriends that are either already in this circle or are marrying into this circle. I'm going to show you a clip really quickly because in my previous video I stated that Meredith, and if you're not following her, you probably should be, did a series on the Turnip Toffs. And I wanted to show a clip from that specific series where they talk about how they swap partners. And this was actually reported by the Daily Fail.
But then we get this sentence, quote, indeed, the two Williams have a history of, shall we say, trading girlfriends. The wording of this next sentence, quote, Van Cutsam's wife, the former Rosie Ruck-Keene, consoled the prince when he briefly split from Kate in 2007. Consoled the prince. What do you mean by that? And this comes after a statement about trading girlfriends. Okay. And then it continues on by saying, quote, he also dated Van Cutsam's old flame, Olivia Hunt, while they were at university together. Is there no, bro code? Because this feels like a violation of bro code. But seriously, how many of these couples have, shall we say, consoled other people from other couples within this small aristocratic friend group?
Now you see, it was the Daily Fail who confirmed this, so it's not anybody making this up. And if you want more information about them, I would suggest you go watch Meredith's videos because this is very Rafael de la Ghetto. Now, back to Regine's now deleted shade piece. By the way, he confirmed his source was one of the aristocratic couples who let it be known that Kate, and I quote, seems to see Rose as a rival. He put that in direct quotation, so somebody said it or Regina's lying. But I don't think he's making this up. Now, here are the sources' reasons for the alleged competition, which remain unclear, but there is no doubt the two couples have become close friends since the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were given Amner Hall by the Queen as a wedding present. Now, I'm not about to read all the rest of this. Y'all can pause if you want to, because if you've been following this story, there's no mystery who her husband is and how many alleged kids they may or may not have together. Moving on. Now, here is where it gets shady, in my opinion. Y'all can pause to read because Richine just had to let it be known that David and them, they come from long money. Sidebar, if you look into the background of some of these English aristocratic families, you'll be shocked to find out how many were struggling financially and had to pull a Prince Philip to find them a sugar mama. Now, the only difference is they had titles and Harry's grandpa only had his good looks. And some of these sugar mamas were American. Okay, so that was the end of Rachine's shade piece, but of course that wasn't good enough because here comes the alleged abuser, Dan Wooten, a little over a week later, slithering in to let it be known that this rumored feud was much deeper than Marich led us to believe. Now, Dan Martin said, not so fast, Rachine, because Kate Middleton has explosive fallout with Glamour's best friend and tells Prince William to fizz her out. The Duchess of Cambridge views Rose Hanbury as royal rival, and the fallout is much worse than first thought. Okay, so Dan said the falling out is much worse, and Prince William even had to step in and broker peace between them. Now, royal insiders say Kate has refused and told William that former model Rose needs to be phased out as one of the couple's closest confidants. But our sources revealed it is well known that Kate and Rose have had a terrible falling out. They used to be close, but that's not the case anymore. So who's the source, Danny? Because this definitely was not included in Marich's article that it's a well-known fact that Kate and Rose have had a terrible falling out and how they used to be close, but that's not the case anymore. And I'm also getting the feeling that the source doesn't like the idea of Rose needing to be phased out. But look how they basically phased Meghan out of that country when a certain person felt threatened. And you can see her fans basically doing that now, doing their best to phase not only her, but those children out of that family. So I'm inclined to believe this. Now, after Danny confirmed with his source that William wanted to play peacemaker and Kate wasn't having it and was like, nah, phase her up out of here, he goes on to say, the fallout has rocked the North Norfolk set dubbed the Turnitofts after Kate and Wills moved to Amner Hall, their country boat hole gifted to them by the Queen. Rose and Eton-educated former filmmaker David lived just 3.5 miles down the road at 106-room Houghton Hall. I don't know if I said that right. By the way, after reading both of these articles, I love how Dan and Richard let it be known that Will and Kate only live in their 10-bedroom home, Amner Hall, because the Queen let them. And also, according to them, Rose and Dave are living it up right down the street in one of the country's finest Palladian 100-room estates, which is sitting on 1,000 acres. Ouch! And known only to those, I guess, who matter as Houghton Hall, whatever. Okay, let's continue. Just like the Daily Mail article, he gives the backstory on their family, how their kids play together, and all that, blah, 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 blah. I swear, it's like they have the same draft floating around. Now, you know Dan just had to let us know. Rose first grabbed headlines by posing for a picture while wearing a pink bikini with her socialite sister Marina and Prime Minister Tony Blair in 2005. He also let us know that they attended the royal couple's wedding 8 years ago, where Rose was hailed as the best dressed guest. Now, the rest of the article is just a bunch of fluff, mostly about Rose, which leads me to believe she or somebody she knows may have been Dan's source for this article. Now, this is just my opinion, but it has Rose written all over it. Now, what Harry say in that Netflix documentary, if you can't see this, I can't help you. But this is the article where Meghan gets brought into the conversation. I'm running out of time, but in my next video, I'm going to discuss basically how this all ties into Meghan and how I think Dan used Meghan to basically get exclusives to help him financially, like for part 2.